I think it's only fair to warn you, if you're watching this video, there's a high chance of kittens ahead. And hello fellow photographers everywhere. A lot of us have been busy trying to keep business happening, keep the money coming in, keep the bills being paid. And sometimes you're in a situation where, well, that's all you've got time for. You're flat out trying to make money so you can pay your bills and stay afloat. But sometimes in life you have a bit of time on your hands. You get a bit ahead of the game and you're able to have some time where you don't have to be counting your hours and making a buck. And sometimes you get to the stage where that's your normal way of life. You can cruise along, work part-time, get some money. You haven't got a lot of bills, so you've got more time on your hands. But you've still got all that expertise as a photographer that you can use. So what do you do with it? Well, you can give it away. I've got a friend who's a counsellor, and one of his favourite questions is, have you volunteered today? Now, volunteering, it can be a mixed bag, because what do you get out of it? Well, you don't get money out of it, and it's unlikely you'll get exposure that will convert to money, as in, oh, people see you doing stuff so they use your business. Yeah, sometimes happens, but I certainly wouldn't rely on it. So what do you get out of volunteering? And what I've found is I get enjoyment, I get satisfaction, I get fun. It just makes life that little bit better. Not just for the people I volunteer for, but for me. I get something out of it. So all my life, even before I left school, when I was a teenager, I got in the habit of volunteering for things that seemed to be a normal thing to do in the circles I ran in. A lot of people were volunteering their time doing things. They were very community minded, and I've stuck with those sort of people all my life. It's just a normal way of doing things, thinking of other people. So I've volunteered my time in things like youth work for decades. I've volunteered my time in printing. I'm a printer by trade, among other things. Quite a varied life I've led. And when you hold a skill or a trade, you can be in fairly high demand because a lot of people don't have those abilities or skills to do things that require a trade, require a lot of on-the-job learning, so they can't do it. So you have something that they really need. I'm also a photographer. I volunteer my time doing photo work. I get gigs that I'm paid for, but there's things, especially in the community, where I just go along and photograph for them. If there's events on in your community with not-for-profit groups and things like that, then why not take your camera along, take some photos for them? It's not going to hurt you, and it'll help them. And for you, it's not hard because you have that expertise, whereas other people will struggle to take a decent selfie with a phone. So for years, I've volunteered my skills as a photographer for community groups and community events, things here in Mandevillin where I live, and a bit further abroad in the Yarra Valley. Now recently I got onto another mob. They're a not-for-profit group called Eastern Palliative Care, and they look after people who are dying. And that can be a strange area of work. It happens all around us, but it's not talked about much, and we don't really know what to say about it. Death happens, every family faces that sort of thing, and there's people who are skilled in dealing with people passing away. Now, Eastern Palliative Care have a lot of volunteer positions available, including things like walking the dogs and pets of people who are seriously ill. There's other things as well, and one of them is what they call smile makers, where photographers volunteer their time and expertise to take portrait shots of people in palliative care. So you can go out and do a portrait session with the client and with their family, and they may be the last photos ever taken. However, when you do that sort of work, one of the rules is you take the photos and then after the client gets them, you delete them from your system and you can't use them on any social media or anything. They're not yours to do. So as well as giving your time, you also give all the photos. They're not yours to keep. Although I do the work, I can't show you any of it. Never can, never will, because once the job's done, I delete the photos. That's part of the deal. However, I was asked the other day to do a portrait session with a difference. Now, some people are used to photographing animals, but it's never really been my thing. I've photographed dog days and dog events and that sort of thing, and horses. There's a whole area of photography out there, pet photography, and some people are right into that. So I've got a friend who volunteers to look after cats when the owners go away, a bit of a minding service, so to speak. And it sort of flows on from her business. She runs a cattery. Apart from the business side, she can actually volunteer to look after animals that have been from other not-for-profit groups. So she's able to give of her time, expertise, room, and voluntarily look after and manage cats and kittens that need to be adopted out through not-for-profit groups. So Jo, volunteering, how long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been running a small business as a boarding cattery since 2009.
Yep.
And during the great lockdown of 2020, as we like to call it, my boarding cattery was sitting empty and vacant, and I heard about fostering and thought, well, I've certainly got the space and I've got a bit of time, as we all did. So I opened up my cattery cages to strays or abandoned kittens, abandoned adult cats, helped facilitate them being desexed and vaccinated. And
so it's a case of using what you would, your profession, and being able to switch it from a commercial business into a volunteering role.
Yeah, exactly right.
So you're able to use your expertise and your space and your equipment and your house even.
Yeah, that's right. Such a labour of love. The boarding cattery has always been something I really enjoy. It almost makes it more enjoyable when you're not being paid, if you understand that. And of course, the animals are in need, so it's just incredible to give them a second chance.
Yeah.
And once I got the word out, I was told about kittens that had been born under houses, and so I set about with trapping and not waiting for the animals to be surrendered to me. I actually started going out and trapping them myself. So that's pretty satisfying, getting them off the street, really turning them from...
into safety.
That's right, turning them into feral animals, into domestic couch potatoes, just the way we like them.
So the rewards in a business are your income, but the rewards in volunteering are the enjoyment and what do you get back from it?
Oh yeah, the satisfaction. It's slightly heart-wrenching when the new owner comes to collect their kitten or their cat, depending on how long they've spent with me, but obviously, I can't keep them all. So far, all the new owners have been incredible. I'm more than happy to hand these gorgeous creatures over. Plus, who doesn't want to play with kittens? It makes it a pretty fantastic little pastime.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Jo.
Oh, my pleasure. I could talk about this all day.
She reached out to me and said, I need someone to take photos of these animals so that they can look good on the websites and people will go, ooh, wow, I want that one. So I went out and spent some time photographing 10 cats and kittens, all voluntary, and I'll be able to show you some of them. But you might be a landscape photographer. What can you do? Well, you're really good at photographing nature and outdoors. You might be able to use that to help other groups, not-for-profit groups, community groups, who need photos. You might be a really good portrait photographer. Have you considered approaching some other community groups who maybe look after people with disabilities and do portrait sessions? Might only take an hour of your time a month or something, but you can get out there and take photos for these not-for-profit and community groups so that they can use them in things like simple things like newsletters or on their websites. You can take better photos than they can, so Why not be able to leverage your professional abilities to help those groups who help people? Have you volunteered today? Pick up your camera, go for a walk and volunteer for fun. Bye.